Hello and welcome to this tutorial on configurations. So we're going to make a few different configurations of, let's say, a clock face. Um, so the first thing we need to do is let's sketch on our top plane, and we'll draw a circle at our origin. So let's make that 100. So it's a nice number. The F key fits your sketch to the window, so that looks pretty good. Finish our sketch, make sure that it's fully defined, and we will extrude it. This time we will extrude it down, and we'll bring our other features up. So that's our clock base. We'll go on here, and I actually want to create another, basically a little knob in the center that I'm going to dimension to 5. Remember, down here, that sketch needs to be fully defined before you finish, and we'll extrude that the other way. We'll extrude that up 10, so that if we were to make some hands, that's where we could put them. We're also going to create another sketch, and we go normal 2, and we're just going to create a simple tick mark on. So this time I'm going to use a line, but I'm going to initially start using a construction line. So the construction line will just help me place everything nicely. So just put that there. So a construction line does not need to be fully defined. That is fine. So basically I'm just going to make a little triangular piece that I will make control selecting those 3 lines, and I want to make them symmetric. So it's symmetric about that line, and this line is completely vertical. We'll add that dimension. We'll make that 5. So that looks pretty good. We'll make this. So if I hold down the shift key, I can get the outer edge of that circle. We'll make that 5 as well. And then we'll select that line and the point. And depending on where I put my cursor, will get me that dimension, and we'll make that 10. Okay, so that sketch is fully defined, and now we will extrude it quickly. I only want to make these, let's make that 2, and we'll click OK. So let's make it a little bit nicer. We'll add some fillets to the corner of that. So you'll notice when I click on that one edge, there's a bunch of different options for my fillets. So if I select connected to end loop, it's basically selecting those 3 corners. My problem right now is that my radius is too big. So if I maybe make that 2 or 1, 1 is the winner because we have a tight angle here. Even 2 is too big. So now that I actually have my full preview and it's actually showing, it should be good. And I'll click OK. The last thing before we move into the configurations is I'm going to do a circular pattern. So this first one is the pattern axis. So I either need to create an axis or any circular face will work. So that circular face there should be good. And it's already selected one of the features. It's just it's just choosing the fillets. So we need to select that boss as well. So it's got both of those in there. I actually want them equal spaced, and right now I want 4 of them. Okay, so again, F, again, spacebar gets me into the orientation window. and then I can choose that isometric to get it nice and neat. So I want to quickly save this. You should always be saving your work as you go, so that if your computer crashes, you don't lose everything. So now we want to add a few configurations. So I think the first thing, I click on the actual feature here in the feature tree. So I want to change this dimension. I want to make it, I'm going to make 3 configurations. I'm going to have this configuration. I'm going to have a smaller version, a smaller diameter version, and then I will do a smaller diameter with 12 tick boxes, or 12 ticks around. So the first thing I do is I highlight my dimension, and then I click configure dimension. So this brings up an error, so just go ahead and click OK. So this brings up the modify configuration. So I want to have basically the default. I'll have a small, and I will have a small by 12, just so I know that they're both different. So I want to make the small, let's make them both 50. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, let's make a medium as well. And we'll make that one 75. So while this window is open, any feature or any feature in this tree that I select, I can change what's going on. So if I double click on the pattern, you'll notice that 360 degrees is there. Just double clicking on the pattern allows me to suppress as well. And then there's this number here, which is the number of instances, which is 4. So let's actually make a third small version where it's just third blank, where we just have, or small times 1, where we just have a single one of these marks. So we can suppress in that single one, and that will get rid of the pattern. So that's under the pattern. So for the medium, let's make the medium one 8, just to be different. This one was a 12, and the small with the 4 as well. So let's click apply and OK. So now we have a bunch of those configurations. So the current one is default. So we're going over here to the configuration manager. So currently we're on default, which didn't change anything. So the first one is a small. So the small, those tabs, the small with 12, which looks pretty busy, but that's all right. We'll do the medium clock, and the small with only 1. So again, I just deleted that pattern. So in reality, what I actually want is I want this small one to have no feature at all. So let's right click on configure that feature. I'm not quite sure why I'm getting that error, but if I clear it, so I can get both of those features, and I can suppress both of those. And we should probably rename this configuration just small. We'll call it blank. So that will eliminate this feature as well. So if we click apply, and because this is the feature we're currently in, once you apply it, it's ready to go. So let's right click and rename this configuration to large, just for some consistency. And there we go. So now if you go to small, that's the 4, the small by 12, the medium, and the large. And then there's the small blank. So if if there was an error and you needed to change them, you just go into the configuration that's broken and fix it. So that's a quick tutorial. We did a couple of quick extrudes, a circular pattern, and then did a bunch of different configurations. All right, thank you.